You are listening to Breathe and Bounce.
I don't know just how it happened. I let down my guard. Swore I'd never fall in love again, but I fell hard. Guess I should have seen it coming. Caught me by surprise. Wasn't looking where I was going. I fell into your eyes. You came into my crazy world like a cool and cleansing rain. Before I knew what hit me, baby, you were flowing through my veins. I'm addicted to you. Hooked on your love like a powerful drug. I can't get enough of. Lost in your eyes, drowning in blue. Out of control, what can I do? I'm addicted to you. Midnight blows in through the window, dances round the room. Got me hypnotized, I'm getting high on the perfume. I couldn't live without you now. I know I'd go insane. I wouldn't last one night alone, baby. I couldn't stand the pain. I'm addicted to you. Hooked on your love like a powerful drug. I can't get enough of. Lost in your eyes, drowning in blue. Out of control. What can I do? I'm in.
Welcome to Breathe and Bounce. It's Michael, and we are going to talk about some crazy stuff today. We're going to talk about a crazy little thing, I guess called love, or reciprocation, respect, however you want to put it. You know, one thing that we see a lot in our relationships is sometimes we like someone, and maybe they don't like us as much as we like them. Or maybe we have a friend and the friendship is more important to yourself than it is to the other person. And it's hard sometimes to separate the two because a lot of ego gets involved. And it's pretty tough because when ego does get involved, it's kind of like your line of thinking is all mixed up. So when I say ego is involved, you put this person on this pedestal like they're this great person, they're so awesome. And part of the reason why that happens is your dopamine levels go right through the roof. You know, I've been there. I know how it is. And it's hard. You find someone you like and you just want them to like you back. You just want whatever it is you want. And you just, for whatever reason, it's not working. And then you start coming up with rationalizations why they don't like you. You know, it's kind of like, well, maybe they had a tough time. Maybe they had problems. Maybe they're forbidden. Maybe, you know, there's like 5 million excuses that you give people to kind of discard you in some ways. I don't want to go that far, but maybe not make you feel like, you know, make you feel like you're not that important, make you feel like you're not for them. And, you know, I mean, when you listen to this, you're probably thinking it's a romantic relationship type deal, but I think it goes with anything. I think it goes with friendships too. I think it goes with, you know, one of the problems that I had, and I did this a lot when I was younger, is I elevated people, a whole bunch of my friends, I elevated them, and I told myself that they were better versions of themselves than they actually were. I gave them those labels. And by doing so, I ended up hurting myself even worse. And I think what we do when we're in these positions is we might look at the person. Maybe the person had a hard life. Maybe the person is going through stuff. Maybe the person just doesn't know how to love. So we want to save them. We want to kind of bring them to the bright side. We want to show them that we can do everything for them. That we can be I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it. We can be the rock when they need to hide. We want to be their fire when it's cold outside. And you'll understand why I said that. But in any event, we think we can be all these things for these people who don't look at us the same way we look at them. We let down our guards. We throw our reason in the garbage. And when I say reason, I mean like not the noun, like I have a reason. It's like reason, logical thinking. You throw it all in the garbage. And it's like, man, I just feel like I'm giving so much to this, but I'm not getting anything back. And then maybe they might spend a little time with you, and then you might feel like, oh, that was great. I'm getting something back. But it's just, we really want to convince people that we are good for them. Whether, like I said, whether it's a friend, whether it's a prospective romantic partner, whether it's like an interest. That's what we want to do, is we want to just show them, I can be there for you. But maybe it doesn't always work that way.
Nobody's perfect, I'll never try. No, but I promise I'm worth it if you just open up your eyes. I don't need a second chance, I need a friend. Someone who's gonna stand by me right there till the end. If you want the best of my heart, you just gotta see the good in me. 'Cause I could be the rain in your desert sky. I could be the fire in your darkest night. I could be your curse or your angel, it's all in how you love me. I could be your sun when it's cold outside. I could be your rock when there's nowhere to hide. I could be your curse or your angel, it's all in how you love me. It's how you love me. It's how you love me. It's how you love me. You get what you give, that's the simple truth. So, ooh, just lend me a hand and I'll give you someone to hold on to. No, I don't need a second chance, I need a friend. Someone who's gonna stand by me right there till the end. If you want the best of my heart, you just gotta see the good in me. 'Cause I could be the rain in your desert sky. I could be the fire in your darkest night. I could be
Yeah, we try to convince people of things, right? I think that's one of the things we do as human beings is we really, really try to just get people to see how great we are. And we really want to shove this idea of us down people's throats so they reciprocate, and then they give you that version of themselves. They give you that version of themselves that you want so badly, that version that you want to see, that you want to touch, that you want to feel, and you don't get it because they're just not there. They might like the feeling of having you around once in a while, but that's it. Maybe it's not even they want to be a friend. They just like how you make them feel once in a while. So they kind of, it's kind of like you're a bottle of perfume to them, and they just spray themselves with your compliments, and then they put you back in the medicine cabinet, sitting there to rot. That's not a good feeling, is it? But the problem is, and I think this happens a lot with people that have my illness, borderline, it's like we don't care. We want those small pieces because it's like a drug. We talked about it at the beginning of the show, addicted to you. It's an addiction. It's kind of like drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever. It feels like you get that dopamine. Dopamine is a killer, man. Yeah, you feel great, but once that dopamine's gone, then how do you feel, And we refuse to see people for what they truly are. And maybe it's not even that they're bad. It's just they don't want anything to do with you. They think there's something wrong with you, other than the fact you give them compliments. I remember this one dude I knew said his wife said the reason why they got together is because she liked that he liked her so much, but there was so much about him that she didn't like. And that's kind of how it is. We get scrambled. When it comes to feelings of validation and love, we get scrambled. Get scrambled like the eggs in a skillet. And the thing about a skillet is if you just have eggs by itself, that's kind of boring. But you kind of put all the vegetables and all the other stuff in there, then it makes it much more fun, right? However, there are some people that like eggs. And you just give the egg a little bit of seasoning and they're okay. But some people need their eggs in scramblers. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I thought it was a good point. I liked it. But like I said, I think there's people like us where we feel the little attention we get from this person means the world to us, despite how they actually feel about us. And we just move forward, and then we end up riding this roller coaster of emotion and misery because of it.
So don't forget it. It's just a silly phase I'm going through. And just because I call you up, don't get me wrong, don't think you got it made. I'm not in love, no, no. Be quiet, big boys don't cry. 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 Big boys don't
I keep your picture upon the wall. It hides a nasty stain that's lying there. So don't you ask me to give it back. I know it doesn't mean that much to me. I'm not alone, no, no. Ooh, you wait a long time for me. Ooh, you wait a long time. Ooh, you wait a long time for me. Ooh, you wait a long time. I'm not alone, so don't forget it. It's just a silly phase I'm going through. Just because I call you up, don't get me wrong, don't think you got me. I'm not alone, I'm not
It doesn't matter whether they love us. We'll wait a long time for them, just like the song says. And we'll wait, and we'll wait, and we'll wait, and we'll wait, and we'll wait until they finally can see how great we are. They can see how much we have to offer. They can see how special we are and how it benefits them so much to wait for us and then jump in to something with us. But then they pull back again. Maybe they start talking to other people. And then the jealousy starts to creep in. And I will tell you this much. For me personally, I used to have a big problem with that. I have trained my mind enough to not care about that stuff anymore. But the one thing I will tell you is it does not stop the pain. Nothing ever stops the pain, because the pain always is there. Because you feel all these feelings. You feel these feelings of rejection. You feel these feelings that you're not good enough. And unfortunately, some people get so hooked and get so invested that they don't feel like they're good for anyone else. It's kind of like a teenage thing. You know, and maybe you're a teenager listening to this and you're going through this. And, you know, it sucks. I know. But you have to be strong. But it doesn't mean that it's not good for you to feel pain. Because you will. It's a basic emotion. When we go through disappointment, we feel pain inside of us. No. They won't see the pain inside of you because they don't understand. They don't know. Some people probably don't know the extent of how you feel about them. Some people may know and they just don't give a crap and they just will go on with their life like everything's cool and, nothing is happening. They don't understand. And that's the thing you have to understand is not everyone can see what you're feeling. Not everyone can feel the despair and the anguish that you're feeling because you're being shut out. Maybe you don't feel like you're being maybe you feel like you're being shut out, but you're really not. I mean, it's just crazy. But having those kind of feelings suck. Big time. And we know what we have to do, right? We know 100% what we need to do. But it's hard. Because like anything that you're addicted to in life, it's hard to walk away. It's hard to choose yourself when something is filling your body with so much good energy.
This is Breathe
even though
and
that good
Bounce.
energy might be phony or it might be temporary. When you're going through all of that, it's like, oh my God, I don't know how to handle this. I know I don't need this, but I can't stop myself. And learning how to stop yourself takes a lot of work, a lot of practice. It is tough. Like it is with anything. If you're addicted to food, it's hard to walk away from food. I mean, I personally am trying to stay away from French fries, and I found myself eating French fries earlier this week, and the guilt I felt was insurmountable. But I kind of just got over myself and said, you know what, I've been doing a good job working out. Now I have an injury, so I'm trying to work through that, unfortunately. But yeah, to reclaim yourself, to reclaim your self-worth, to reclaim everything you feel about yourself. And once again, like I said, this may not be the other person's fault. They may not even know you're going through this. And maybe they're just going by what they feel. Because they're allowed to feel how they want to feel too. If they don't like you, they don't want to hang out with you, they, do whatever they do. Now, if they're being manipulative and just bringing you around to make themselves feel better and then throwing you to the side, kind of like I talked about earlier, then yeah, that sucks. And yeah, that's pretty crappy. And, someone should, pee in their Wheaties for that. I don't know. I would say other things, but this is on radio, so we can't use the words I like to use. But we're going to talk about that, the walking away, the reclaiming ourselves here in just a moment. September 15th, 2 p.m., Randall Oaks Park, the community shelter. Come on down and check out Experience 3, A Walk in the Woods, featuring myself, Rich doing some breath work, and Treya doing a sound journey. And Treya does awesome sound journeys. You're not going to want to miss it. For that and other things going on, please go to www.breatheandbounce.com. More coming up here in just a moment.
Today is a great day to begin again. This is Breathe and Bounce.
I love the rush I get. Tied up tight around your fingertips. There's no escaping this.
You might feel bound by this feeling that you have for someone. You might feel bound. You might feel addicted. You might feel hooked. You might feel like there's no letting go. And the only way that this whole thing is going to end is and if we think about that in life, there's so many things that we feel like suffering will end when we get what we want. We get a lot of money, and problems will end. We find love, our problems will end. We get a nice car, our problems will end. And if we get 3 houses, it just goes on and on. But the truth of the matter is, suffering is within. So in order to work on your suffering, you have to work within. You're not going to be able to buy things to help you with your pain. You're not going to be able to find love to soothe your broken heart. You're not going to be able to do any of that. The only way you're going to work on everything is through yourself and looking inward. Because you are basically putting on Band-Aids by partaking in the earthly pleasures that come your way. Think about it. You feel sad, you eat a candy bar. You feel okay for a few minutes, and then an hour later, your problem is still there and you still have to deal with it. The thing is, we have to do the hard work. We have to do the deep work, and we have to be able to scream, yell, fight, whatever we need to do in order to get through that work, because it is hard. And when we are faced with hard things, we get uncomfortable and we want to run. We want to take off. We want to quit, but we cannot quit. We have to keep going. And if someone in our life isn't being receptive to us, we have to let them go, and we have to end the heartache right now. You might feel bound by this feeling that you have for someone. You might feel bound. You might feel addicted. You might feel hopeless. You might feel like you don't know where to go. And the only way that this whole thing is going to end is by you getting what you want. And if we think about that in life, there's so many things that we feel like suffering will end when we get what we want. We get a lot of money, our problems will end. We find love, our problems will end. We get a nice car, our problems will end. If we get 3 houses, it just goes on and on. But the truth of the matter is, suffering is within. So in order to work on your suffering, you have to work within. You're not going to be able to buy things to help you with your pain. You're not going to be able to find love to soothe your broken heart. You're not going to be able to do any of that. The only way you're going to work on everything is through yourself and looking inward, because you are basically putting on Band-Aids by partaking in the earthly pleasures that come your way. Think about it. You feel sad, you eat a candy bar. You feel okay for a few minutes, but then an hour later, your problem is still there and you still have to deal with it. The thing is, we have to do the hard work. We have to do the deep work, and we have to be able to scream, yell, fight, whatever we need to do in order to get through that work, because it is hard. And when we are faced with hard things, we get uncomfortable and we want to run. We want to take off. We want to quit, but we cannot quit. We have to keep going. And if someone in our life isn't being receptive to us, we have to let them go, and we have to end the heartache right now. rage. You know, it's good to rage out once in a while when you're feeling hurt, when you're feeling miserable, when you're suffering. It's hurt to let it out. Get yourself a nice, good heavy metal song, scream to it. Maybe break a few things, go in the garage, bring some TVs in there that don't need you are going to have to clean that stuff up because no one wants to put their toe into a TV screen. Whatever. But it's good because you have to let it out. You have to rage. You have to tell yourself, what do you mean I'm not good enough for this person? What do you mean that this person is too good for me? Why have I been putting them on this pedestal like they are awesome? Because here's the truth. The one thing that you should be putting on a pedestal, the one person that you should be putting on a pedestal is yourself. Nobody else. And I say that within reason because you get to a point where if you put yourself on a pedestal, your ego might want to boost you a little bit, so you have to be mindful of that. But the truth of the matter is you have to give yourself a lot more love. You have to give yourself that attention, that understanding, that grace, and ultimately the love. To know that you are worthy of being loved. You are worthy of being interested in. You are worthy of being found out about. All those things. You have such beautiful talents. You have such a wonderful mind. You have all this stuff going for you. Don't let an experience with one person derail you, because life is very long but short. It's long enough to figure it out, but it's short enough to stop short. To one day just get taken. Your number gets called, it's good to get rage. It's good to rage out once in a while when you're feeling hurt, when you're feeling miserable, when you're suffering. It's hurt to let it out. There are times when get yourself a nice, good heavy metal song, scream to it. We do find ourselves maybe sitting there saying a few things, go in the garage. What if I did that? Bring some TVs you shouldn't have to be left with that. And break them. Maybe this person, be the bad part, though. Unfortunately, you are going to have to clean that stuff up because no one wants to put their toe into a TV screen with that question, or car run over it, or whatever. Maybe they should be left. Disaster that can come out with all that regret. But it's good because you have to let it out. You have to rage, and you have to tell yourself, "What do you mean I'm not good enough for this person?" And you find what do you mean that this person is too good for me? Why have I been putting them on this pedestal? You can make decisions like they are awesome. That's the beautiful thing about life is we always get to choose. The one thing that you should be putting on a pedestal, the one person that you should be putting on a pedestal is yourself. Nobody else. And I say that within reason because you get to a point where if you do put yourself on a pedestal, your ego might want to boost you a little bit, so you have to be mindful of that. But the truth of the matter is you have to give yourself a lot more love. You have to give yourself that attention, that understanding, that grace, and ultimately the love. To know that you are worthy of being loved. You are worthy of being interested in. You are worthy of being found out about. All those things. You have such beautiful talents. You have such a wonderful mind. You have all this stuff going for you. Don't let an experience with one person derail that, because life is very long but short. It's long enough to figure it out, but it's short enough to stop short. To one day, it just gets taken from you. Your number gets called, and next thing you know, spirit leaves the vessel, and you go from there. And yes, there are times when if we don't do things, we're going to regret them. And we do find ourselves sitting there saying, oh, what if I did that? But you shouldn't have to be left with that. Maybe this person who's yo-yoing you, maybe they should be the one with that question. Maybe they should be left with all that regret. Not you. You just move on. You walk away. And you find what makes you happy. No excuses. Because you got the power. You can make decisions. And that's the beautiful thing about life, is we always get to choose. That's right. Just walk away. Walk away from something that's not making you happy. Walk away from something that's making you feel, I guess, disgusted. Walk away from something that doesn't make you feel sure of yourself. And yes, there might have been things that have happened in the past that made you feel good. When you were in this friendship, when you were in this relationship, when you were in this soon-to-be relationship, or whatever it was. You have to understand that everything moves on in life. You can choose to stay there and live with the memories and hope that they will come back one way or the other, or you can choose to move forward and see what comes next. And yes, people do wake up sometimes. People do come back, and at that point you have a decision. You're going to dip your toe into that pool again and hope you don't get dragged into the deep end, drowning you with fear and sorrow and regret. Or just keep going. You don't go in the swimming pool. You go somewhere else. It's hard. It's so hard to walk away from things that you want. You know, it's kind of like that with the stock market. You see the stock and it keeps dropping and dropping, but you feel in your heart that there's some potential for it to come back. And like we've seen stocks do that in the past, and this stock is it. Sometimes you have to just take your losses and you need to go. You know, there are people out there that get married. They are together 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and then they realize it then. And then they have to take their losses, which are heavier than what you have in front of you right now. See, you may not even be in a relationship. You may not even know this person as intimately as you think they are. And as far, you know, it's possible the universe is sending you a signal saying,
That's
no.
right. Just walk away.
No.
Walk away from something
I'm
that's
going
not
to
making
tell
you
you
happy.
this 5 million
Walk
times.
away
No.
from something that's
It's not
making
for
you
you.
feel that person is not meant to be in your life. They
They
might have been meant to be in your life like a few years ago.
Walk away from something that doesn't make you feel sure.
I'll
of
give you an
yourself.
example. And yes, there
I
might have
was
been things
in a
that have
very bad
happened in the
place.
past that made you feel good.
And
when you were
Joel
in this
Osteen
friendship,
came on
when you were
TV.
in this relationship, when you were
And
in this
Joel
soon-to-be
Osteen
relationship or
talked
whatever
about
it was.
how
But you have to understand
when
that
you were having problems,
everything moves on in life.
God was going to turn
You
water
can
into
choose to
wine
stay there
and help you through your problems
and live with the memories
And
and
I
hope that
really
they will
felt
come
like he
back
was
one way or the other.
literally
Or you
talking
can
to
choose
me.
to move forward.
and see
Maybe
what comes
God
next.
was using him to talk to me.
And yes, people
So
do
that
wake up
moment,
sometimes. People
I
do come
felt
back,
like
and at that point, you have a decision
I had this
to make.
connection.
If you're going to
And then
dip your toe
once
into that pool
got
again,
through my situation, I started listening to more Joel
and hope you don't
Osteen
get
to
dragged
kind of
into the deep
pump
end,
me up, to make me
drowning
feel better
you
about
with
myself, to
fear
make me
and
feel like
sorrow,
giving
and
me
regret.
that that a boy.
Or you just keep going, and you don't
And then
go
I
in the swimming
got to
pool.
find out a couple things. I got to find
You
out
go somewhere
that
else.
this man has 3 elevators in his house. What does
It's hard.
anyone need
It's so
3
hard
elevators
to
in
walk
their
away
house
from
for?
things that you want to happen.
And then, of course, I rationalized it by saying, "Oh yeah, he wrote a lot of books, yada yada yada."
It's kind of like that with
And
the
then
stock market.
when the
You
hurricane
see the
came, he
stock,
didn't open up the doors for
and
people in the
it keeps
community to
dropping
come in
and dropping,
stay.
but you feel in
Now,
your heart
granted,
that there's some
he said
potential
that
for it
there
to
was flooding,
come back. And like
and
we've
the jury's
seen
out on
stocks
that.
do that in the past, and this stock is it.
but he didn't get in
Sometimes you
front
have
of
to
that
just
news
take your
story.
losses
It was
and you
found
need to
out by
go.
someone else. So then I
there are
find out
people
a little
out there
bit
that
like,
get
oh,
married.
maybe there's some
They
things
are
about him I
together
don't really
5,
like.
10, 15, 20, 30, 40,
But he
50
helped
years,
me
and then they realize
when I was in
it
that
then.
one bad spot
and then they
in my
have to
life.
take their losses, which
So I had
are
to let him go.
heavier.
It doesn't work
than
for me anymore.
what you have in front of you right now.
It's not growing me.
See,
And
you may
if
not
it is
even
not
be in the
growing you,
relationship. You may not even
chances
know this
are
person
it
as
is
intimately as you think they
stagnating
are.
you, or
And
it is burying
as far,
you.
it's possible
Those are
that
the two opposites
universe
from
is
grow.
sending you a signal saying,
And if
no,
you're someone that wants to grow, then you
No.
have to keep this in
I'm
your
going
mind
to tell you this
whenever
5
you
million
decide
times.
to
No,
share your life with
it's not for
someone.
you. That person is not
I mean,
meant
if
to be in your life.
you
They
get
might have been
married
meant
and
to
it-
be in your
it ain't
life
it,
like a few
and you
years
gotta
ago.
Have enough respect for
I'll
yourself
give you an
to
example.
say it's not happening.
I was
Maybe have
in a
respect
very
for
bad
that
place.
other person, and then that person might freak out because they want you around.
Joel Osteen came on TV.
But you got to make it about
And
yourself.
Joel
Unfortunately,
Osteen talked about how when you were having problems, God was going to turn water
there's-
into wine and
there's
help
so
you
many
through your
scenarios
problems.
I can talk about with this,
And
I talked about
I
them
really
already in the
felt like
show.
he was
I talk about
literally
you
talking
have
to
this
me.
group of friends. Maybe
God
God
was using him.
When I was
to
growing
talk
up,
to
I
me.
had the same thing.
So
I
that
mean,
moment,
I didn't
I
have
felt
very many
like
friends growing up. I was
I had
bullied
this
a lot.
connection.
People made fun of me because I had a speech
And
impediment.
then
People didn't really want to
once
talk to the
I
weird guy
got
because
through
I
my
was a little
situation, I
weird
started
too. I was a
listening to
little
more Joel
quirky.
Osteen to kind of
I listened to
pump
heavy
me up
metal
to make
when I
me
was
feel
younger,
better about myself,
and
to
people
make
weren't
me
really
feel
into
like
that.
giving me that,
They
that
called it
dad a
devil
boy.
music.
And
So
then I
people didn't
got
really
to
want to
find out
bother
a
with
couple
me too
things.
much, and then when people
I got
wanted
to
to
find
bother
out
with
that
me,
this
then I
man has
glommed
3
onto them.
elevators in his house. What does
And there
anyone
were so many
need
times
3
when I
elevators
glommed
in
onto
their house
people,
for?
they still made me feel like they didn't
And then,
want
of
me
course,
around.
I rationalized it by saying,
Sometimes
"Oh
they
yeah, he wrote a lot of
kept
books,
me with
yada
them
yada
because
yada."
they wanted to make me
And then
feel.
when the hurricane came, he
they
didn't
wanted
open up
to,
the doors for
kind of
people in the
make me
community to
court
come in and
jester.
stay.
They wanted to make fun of me.
Now, granted,
maybe because my
he said that
speech
there was
impediment was
flooding,
hilarious to them, so they thought
and
if
the
they
jury's
were picking
out on
me
that.
about it. It was, it was all in good fun.
But he didn't get in
everything
front
was
of that
all in
news
good
story.
fun, right?
It was found out by
Well, it
someone
wasn't
else.
fun to me. It wasn't
So
fun to
then
me
you
going home
I find
every
out a
day.
little bit like, oh, maybe there's some things about him I don't
Sometimes
really
crying.
like. But he helped
Sometimes
me when I
not
was in
knowing
that
what to do
one
because my
bad spot
parents
in my
didn't
life.
understand what was going on.
So
I'd
I
go
had
in
to
my
let him
room
go.
and I would just make.
It doesn't
believe
work for me
things.
anymore.
I'd put myself in a make-believe
It's not
world
growing
of
me.
wrestling, and I'd watch
And
wrestling.
if it is not
or,
growing you,
music, I'd try to play
Chances
music.
are it is stagnating you,
tried to teach
or it is
myself guitar a
burying
little
you.
bit.
Those are the two opposites from grow.
And then I found,
And if you're someone that wants to
I
grow,
got
then
so
you have to
frustrated
keep
with my
this in your
life, I started
mind
getting very
whenever
angry,
you
and I started
decide to
getting
share
angry at
your
the
life
world.
with someone.
So because I didn't choose myself,
I mean, if
and
you get married and
myself
it
that
ain't
I
it,
could overcome,
and you gotta
and that people
have
right
enough
people
respect
would
for
find me
yourself
and
to
like
say
me.
it's not happening. Maybe have
sold
respect
myself
for
out.
that other person, and then that person might
And
freak
it
out
led
because
to
they
much
want you around.
deeper consequences as I got older.
But you got
Because
to
then I
make it
started
about yourself.
playing around
Unfortunately,
with people who were doing drugs and partying, and I got into that world. I ended up losing
And
3 childhood friends to overdoses.
there's so many scenarios I can talk about with this, and I've talked about them already in the
So,
show.
it's always been
I talk
hard for
about
me
you have this group of
when
friends,
people like me.
and
I
when I was
find it
growing up, I had the
absolutely
same thing. I
unbelievable
mean, I didn't have very
that
many
someone would
friends
like me
growing up. I
because
was
of
bullied
my
a lot.
past,
People made
because of
fun of
everything
me
that's
because I had a
happened to me.
speech impediment. People didn't
And I
really
tried
want to talk
control
to the weird
situations
guy
where
because
thought
I was a
people were
little
slipping
weird
away
too.
from
I
me,
was a
and I would do
little
everything I can to
quirky.
hold on to them and
I
keep
listened
them
heavy metal when I was
And
younger.
I unfortunately
and
found
people
myself
weren't really
doing this
into
still
that
to this day.
They called it devil
Yes,
music.
part of it is the borderline.
So
part
people
of
didn't
it
really
is
want to bother
also
with me too much. And then when people wanted to bother with me, then
having
I
that faith in
glommed onto
myself.
them. And there were
I
so
think
many
one of the
times
lessons
when
we
I
can
glommed
learn-
onto people, they still made me feel like they didn't want me
One of the
around.
biggest things that we've heard.
Sometimes they kept me with them because they wanted to make
It
me
was
feel...
once said by a wise man.
They
named
wanted to,
Stephen
kind
Stills.
of make me the court jester.
He
They wanted to
said,
make fun of me.
can't be
Maybe because
the one
my
that-
speech impediment
can't
was
be with the
hilarious
one that
to
you
them.
love.
So they thought if they were picking on me
Love the
about
one
it,
you're with.
it was,
And
it
you're
was
with
all in good
yourself
fun. All the
everything
time
was all in good
So
fun,
maybe you
right?
need to start with
It
yourself.
wasn't fun to me.
Right?
It wasn't
Right.
fun
To
to me.
me, going home every day, sometimes crying, sometimes not knowing what to do because my parents didn't understand what was going on. I'd go in my room and I would just make-believe things. You know, I'd put myself in a make-believe world of wrestling, and I'd watch wrestling or, music. I tried to play music. I tried to teach myself guitar a little bit. And then I found, I got so frustrated with my life, I started getting very angry, and I started getting angry at the world. So because I didn't choose myself, and have enough faith in myself that I could overcome, and that people, the right people would find me and like me, I kind of sold myself out. And it led to much deeper consequences as I got older, because then I started playing around with people who were doing drugs and partying, and I got into that world. I ended up losing 3 childhood friends to overdoses. So it's always been hard for me when people like me. I find it absolutely unbelievable that someone would like me because of my past, because of everything that's happened to me. And I've tried to control situations where I thought people were slipping away from me, and I would do everything I can to hold on to them and keep them close. And I unfortunately found myself doing this still to this day. And yes, part of it is the borderline. But part of it is also not having that faith in myself. And I think one of the lessons we can learn, probably one of the biggest things that we've heard, it was once said by a wise man named Stephen Stills. He said, "You can't be with the one that you love. Love the one you're with. And you're with yourself all the time, so maybe you need to start with yourself." Right? Right. You are with yourself all the time. You wake up with yourself. You go to bed with yourself. You have to take yourself in the shower. You have to look at yourself in the mirror. You are with yourself constantly, so why not love the one you're with? It's what else does. I've learned that. I'm practicing it. I've learned how to love myself and give myself grace, and it feels awesome. Let's do it together, gang. I want to thank you so much for listening. For people that are out in Illinois, you can come to practice yoga with me, as I am teaching yoga, Vinyasa Yoga, Mondays at 1 o'clock at the Rec House Center, right there at 25 and 68 in Carpentersville. And I am also teaching at the Randall Oaks Recreation Center at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays. That's right on Randall Road, right in Dundee. For more information from that, you can go to dtpd.org. There's lots of other great classes there as well. And you can go to my website, breatheinbounds.com. Come on out to Experience 3, Walk in the Woods. You'll be happy that you did. And see how really cool stuff. This remember, you are worth everything. If someone can't see your worth, F them. End of story. No question. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. Take care of yourself. And you as well. And your breath take your place. You are with yourself all the time. You wake up with yourself. You go to bed with yourself. You have to take yourself in the shower. You have to look at yourself in the mirror. You are with yourself constantly, so why not love the one you're with? That's where it all starts. I've learned that. I'm practicing it. I've learned how to love myself and give myself grace, and it feels awesome. So, let's do it together, gang. Let's all love ourselves, because that is the resolution that we need to help. I want to thank you so much for listening. For people that are out in McHenry and Kane County, Illinois, you can come to practice yoga with me, as I am teaching yoga, Vinyasa Yoga, Mondays at 1 o'clock at the Rack House Center, right there at 25 and 68 in Carpentersville. And I am also teaching at the Randall Oaks Recreation Center at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays. That's right on Randall Road, right in Dundee. For more information from that, you can go to dtpd.org. There's lots of other great classes there as well. And you can go to my website, breatheandbounce.com. Come on out to Experience 3, Walk in the Woods. You'll be happy that you did. And see all the other cool stuff we got going on. And just remember, you are worth everything. If someone can't see your worth, F them. End of story. No questions asked. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. Take care of yourself. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May your breath take your places that your mind cannot. Namaste.